For the last 10 years, if you wanted to buy a decent electric car, the conversation started and ended with one word: Tesla. It was the default choice. If you wanted a car that actually worked, had a charging network that wasn't broken, and received cool software updates, you bought a Tesla. But as we sit here in 2026, that default button has been deleted. The world has changed. The huge advantage that Tesla used to have the supercharger network isn't a secret anymore. Almost every major car company now uses the same plug. You can pull a Ford, a Kia, or a Hyundai into a supercharger, and it just works. But it's not just about the plugs. Tesla's lineup is undergoing a massive earthquake. As we've talked about, the legendary Model S and the Falcon Wing Model X are officially heading to the graveyard by June. And if that wasn't enough, Tesla has changed the rules on their software, making you pay a monthly subscription just to have the car steer itself in its own lane. The Tesla tax is real, and for the first time ever, the competition isn't just catching up in many cases. They've already passed them. Today, we're breaking down the absolute best alternatives to every single Tesla model on the market. We're looking at the cars that give you more range for less money, better interiors, and features that Tesla simply won't give you. I'm Nick, and this is the ultimate 2026 guide to the Tesla killers that are actually worth your money. Let's get into it. Let's start with the car that most people think of when they hear electric car, the Model 3. It's been the benchmark for years. It's fast, it's efficient, and it starts at a decent price. But the Model 3 has a sole problem. The interior is basically a screen and a piece of wood. It doesn't have a dashboard behind the steering wheel, and it definitely doesn't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. In 2026, that's a deal breaker for a lot of people. The first giant to stand up to the Model 3 is the Hyundai IONIQ 6. If you want to beat Tesla, you have to beat them at their own game: efficiency. The IONIQ 6 doesn't just look like a futuristic pebble. It slices through the air better than almost anything else on the road. While the base Model 3 gives you about 321 miles of range, the long-range IONIQ 6 punches out a massive 366 miles. That is a huge difference when you're on a road trip. But the exposed truth about the Hyundai is the charging. The IONIQ 6 uses an 800-volt system. In simple terms, that means it's like a bigger straw for electricity. While a Model 3 might take 30 or 40 minutes to get a good charge, the Hyundai can go from 10% to 80% in about 18 minutes. By the time you've finished your coffee, the car is ready to go another 300 miles. Plus, you get a real dashboard, actual buttons for the air conditioning, and a ride that doesn't feel like you're sitting on a piece of plywood. If you want something that feels more like a real luxury car, you have to look at the BMW i4. This is for the person who wants an electric car that doesn't scream, "I'm a spaceship." It drives like a BMW. It's built like a tank. And the interior materials make the Model 3 look like a toy. It's more expensive, starting around $57,000, but you're paying for quality that Tesla just doesn't offer. And for my budget shoppers out there, don't sleep on the Polestar 2. Now that it's been discontinued, you can find used ones for under $30,000 that still feel premium and look incredibly cool. If the Model 3 is the pioneer, the Model Y is the profit machine. It is the most popular car type in America right now, the mid-size crossover. For years, the Model Y was the only real choice if you wanted a family-sized EV with a decent trunk and a reliable charger. But in 2026, the Model Y is looking a little long in the tooth. Even with the Juniper refresh that finally brought some Cybertruck-style lighting and a quieter cabin, it still feels like a rolling smartphone. It's stiff, it's loud on the highway, and it forces you to use that center screen for everything, even adjusting your air vents. The competition has noticed, and they are hitting Tesla where it hurts: the price tag and the human experience. The first car on the hit list is the Hyundai IONIQ 5. This car is the reason the Model Y's market share is slipping. While the Tesla starts around $49,990 for a decent trim, the 2026 IONIQ 5 has dropped its entry price to a shocking $36,600. That is a massive gap. But it's not just about the money. the IONIQ 5 is simply a better riding car. While the Model Y crashes over potholes like a shopping cart, the Hyundai uses a sophisticated multi-link suspension that glides over bumps. And let's talk about the exposed truth of the interior: buttons. The IONIQ 5 gives you actual physical keys for your climate control and your heated seats. You don't have to take your eyes off the road and navigate 3 menus just to defrost your windshield. Plus, just like its sedan brother, it uses that 800-volt battery system. You can pull up to a 350 kilowatt charger and get back on the road while the Model Y owner next to you is still waiting for their battery to hit 50%. If you're looking for the absolute king of value per mile, however, you have to look at the Chevy Equinox EV. This car is a total game changer. For 2026, Chevrolet realized that most people don't want a spaceship. They just want a reliable Chevy that doesn't need gas. The Equinox EV starts at just $34,995. And for that price, you get an EPA estimated 319 miles of range. Think about that. For $15,000 less than a Tesla, you're getting nearly the same range. The interior is designed to feel like a normal car, with a massive 17.7-inch screen that is actually larger than the one in the Model Y. It also includes an 11-inch driver information center, a feature Tesla refuses to give you. And for the families out there, the Equinox features a dual-height cargo floor, making it much easier to organize your groceries or your strollers. It might not be as fast as a Tesla in a 0 to 60 sprint, but for a daily driver, it is the most logical choice in the country right now. But what if you want something with more soul? Something that feels like an adventure instead of a commute? That is where the Rivian R2 comes in. As we sit here in early 2026, the R2 is the most anticipated launch of the year. It's smaller than the R1S. It starts around $45,000, and it looks like a rugged, shrunken down tank. It has nearly 10 inches of ground clearance, which makes the Model Y look like a low-slung sedan. The R2 is packed with Easter eggs that Tesla would never think of, like 2 glove boxes, a flashlight built into the door, and front and rear seats that fold completely flat so you can actually sleep in the car while camping. It even has a rear window that rolls down into the tailgate, perfect for carrying long surfboards or just getting some fresh air for your dog. With over 300 miles of range and a 0 to 60 time of under 3 seconds on the top trims, the R2 is the first car that makes a Tesla feel boring. And here is a pro tip for the Nick's Car Review viewers. If you want the ultimate luxury bargain, go to the used market. Because of the way EVs depreciate, you can now find used Cadillac Lyrics for between $30,000 and $40,000. This is a car that originally cost $65,000. You get a 33-inch curved LED display, a cabin that is library quiet, and a level of comfort that a Model Y can't touch. In 2026, you don't have to buy a basic Tesla to get a great EV. You can buy a used luxury flagship for the same price. This is the part of the story that is going to make the internet explode. But if you've been paying attention to the exposed truths of the industry, you saw it coming. The kings are dead. As of June 2026, the Tesla Model S and the Model X are officially discontinued. Think about the weight of that for a second. The Model S is the car that literally saved Tesla from bankruptcy and proved to the world that an electric car could be beautiful, fast, and desirable. The Model X, with its crazy falcon wing doors, was the first cool family SUV that didn't feel like a minivan. But Elon Musk has never been one to look back. He's officially ripping out the assembly lines at the Fremont factory, not to build a Model S version 2, but to make room for Optimus. Yes, the humanoid robots are taking over the factory space where Tesla's flagships used to be born. Tesla is moving away from being a car company and betting everything on AI and autonomy. This leaves a massive, high-end hole in the market. If you want a luxury electric sedan or a large, high-tech, 3-row SUV in 2026, you can't just walk into a Tesla store anymore. The crown has been dropped, and there's a line of hungry rivals ready to pick it up. If you were a Model S fan, your new destination is Lucid, specifically the Lucid Air. While Tesla stopped innovating on the Model S years ago, Lucid has been pushing the boundaries of what a battery can actually do. the Lucid Air isn't just a car, it's a masterclass in engineering. We are talking about a sedan that can achieve over 500 miles of range on a single charge. It makes the old Model S look like a toy. The interior isn't a slab of plastic and a screen. It's a glass cockpit with high-end fabrics, wood, and a build quality that finally justifies a six-figure price tag. It is faster, it charges quicker, and it looks like it belongs in a museum. But the real battleground, the one that affects families the most, is the three-row SUV space that the Model X used to dominate. Without the X, where do you go? The answer is the Lucid Gravity. This is the car that has the Silicon Valley soul, but with real-world utility. It offers 450 miles of range, which is a distance the Model X could only dream of. It has a massive, curved 6K display and a cabin that feels twice as big as the Tesla because the motors are so small they don't take up any passenger space. It starts at $81,550, which is right where the Model X lived. But it feels like a vehicle from a decade in the future. However, maybe you don't want a luxury lounge. Maybe you want a tank. That is where the Rivian R1S steps in to claim the throne. For 2026, Rivian has refreshed the R1S with their Ascend trim, and it is a beast. We are talking about 1,025 horsepower. It can do 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds. It is faster than a supercar, yet it can wade through 3 feet of water and carry 7 people and their camping gear. The Model X was always a mall crawler. It looked tough, but you'd never take those Falcon doors into the mud. The R1S is a real SUV with over 15 inches of ground clearance and a ruggedness that makes it the true king of the adventure segment. And we can't talk about replacing the Model X without mentioning the Kia EV9 and its new sibling, the Hyundai IONIQ 9. These are the people's champions. While Tesla was focusing on robots, Kia and Hyundai were focusing on families. The EV9 has taken the market by storm because it offers a true adult-sized third-row something the Model X never actually mastered. It has 800-volt charging that beats Tesla speeds, and an interior that is packed with space lounge features, like second-row seats that can swivel 180 degrees to face the back. The exposed truth here is that Tesla gave up on the luxury market to chase robots and self-driving taxis. But the luxury market didn't disappear, it just moved. Whether it's the record-breaking range of the Lucid, the off-road tank vibes of the Rivian, or the pure family hauling logic of the Kia and Hyundai, the world has moved on from the S3 XY era. The kings are in the graveyard, and the new giants are already parked in the driveway. As we look at the landscape of 2026, one thing is abundantly clear. The default era is officially over. For nearly a decade, if you wanted an electric car, you bought a Tesla because it was the only complete package. You weren't just buying a car. You were buying a ticket into a club that had the only working chargers, the only over-the-air updates, and the only cool factor. But today, the walls of that club have been torn down. When you can pull a Chevy Equinox into a supercharger or get a software update on your Kia while you sleep, the Tesla badge loses its magic and becomes just another car on the road. The exposed truth of 2026 is that the decision now comes down to your personal philosophy. Do you want a car that is a device, a rolling smartphone that simplifies everything but takes away your control? Or do you want a car that is a vehicle, a machine designed with human intuition, physical buttons, and a focus on how it actually feels to drive on a real road? Tesla is doubling down on the device side. By removing the Model S and X and forcing people into subscriptions just to get basic lane centering, they are betting that you care more about their AI and their robots than you do about having a leather seat or a physical volume knob. But the competition is betting on you. They are betting that after 10 years of staring at a giant iPad in the middle of a dashboard, you're ready for something more. Brands like Hyundai and Kia are winning because they give you the best of both worlds. the 800-volt charging speed that beats Tesla's tech, but the physical buttons and swiveling seats that make life easier for a parent with a toddler. Brands like Rivian and Lucid are winning because they offer a level of soul and craftsmanship that makes a Tesla interior look like a piece of flat-pack furniture. And then there is the massive shift in the used market. This is a secret that many new buyers don't realize yet. Because Tesla's lineup is so small and their price cuts have been so aggressive, the resale value of older EVs has created a gold mine for savvy shoppers. In 2026, you can buy a used Cadillac LYRIQ or a Polestar 2 for less than the price of a base model Toyota Camry. You can get a 3-row Kia EV9 that has already taken its biggest depreciation hit, giving you a flagship luxury SUV for a budget price. The Tesla-only mentality has created a massive opportunity for everyone else. However, we have to give credit where it's due. Tesla still has the best drivetrain efficiency in the business. They still have the sharpest acceleration tuning and a software experience that is, frankly, more cohesive than what the legacy car companies are putting out. If you are a tech-first person who wants the most efficient tool for getting from A to B, a Model 3 or a Model Y might still be your pick. But for the rest of us, the trucked-up guys, the big families, and the luxury seekers, the menu has finally expanded. Whether you are looking at the $30,000 Ranchero gamble from Ford, the 450-mile luxury of the Lucid Gravity, or the $35,000 Value King Equinox from Chevy, the power is finally back in the hands of the buyer. You no longer have to adapt or else to a Silicon Valley doctrine. You don't have to settle for a 4-foot bed if you need an 8-foot bed. You don't have to settle for a stiff ride if you want to glide over potholes. The most interesting part of this 2026 comparison is that for the first time, it's a fair fight. Infrastructure isn't the tiebreaker anymore. Range isn't the only metric. It's now about ground clearance, third-row legroom, physical controls, and design philosophy. It's about which car fits your life, not how you can fit your life into their car. The S3 XY era was a great start, but the future of the EV market is much bigger, much more diverse, and much more human than a factory full of robots. Thanks for sticking with me through this massive breakdown. This is a huge turning point for all of us, and I want to know where you stand. Are you sticking with the tried and true Tesla ecosystem, or are you ready to jump ship for one of these new giants? Does a $30,000 price tag make you ignore a small truck bed? Or is the 800-volt charging on the Kia the ultimate deal closer for you? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. I'm Nick, this is Nick's Car Review, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.